Here we are in Toledo, Ohio for the 2025 Frogtown Fling, presented by Saucy Disc Golf. This here is a production of RandomDeuceGuy. All drone footage, camera footage, graphics, editing, and commentary by the RandomDeuceGuy. So this here is Toledo, Ohio, where I was born and raised. There's downtown on the left. There's kind of the art museum there, the Toledo Zoo in that section, St. Francis de Sales, right across Bancroft there. And then there's the University of Toledo, where I went to college. Out there further west is Sylvania. Here is Toledo Hospital. And in the middle of Toledo here is a fantastic piece of property that is the Ottawa Park Disc Golf Course. It is the first place I ever learned how to play disc golf, and it is very special to me. So when I was in town this year and I was injured, so I couldn't play in the tournament, I thought, why don't I show up and film my friends playing this little C tier here. So we are going to be playing the Pro Tees today, which are concrete tees we put in like 2007, and they're currently being redone. The course looks a little different than this drone footage. The drone footage was captured in 2021 when I was back visiting friends and family, but the holes remain the same. Baskets are in the same places, even though the baskets have been upgraded, and these concrete tees are being replaced right now, but for the tournament they were exactly where they are. So you can see the entire course here. It just fits in this little parcel of land, and it is 19 disc golf holes, and I would say the blues, which are the pro pads, are filled with a lot of bonus birdies, slightly tricky shots, a lot of elevated putts, and you gotta kind of have a bunch of different shots to shoot well here. Here's round one for the fellas. Hayden Carroll leading the way after his AM Worlds victory here in 2025. Yes, that is the AM Worlds champion, Hayden Carroll, shooting a 10-24, 10 down. And Mason Hughes was only 4 strokes behind him, and he bogeyed 17, which can be a tricky little one. That green is pretty treacherous. Clarke also bogeyed 17. That was his only bogey on the day, and he shot a 4 down. And then Nate Hoyle, who has played this course more than anybody probably on this card, has a few ups and downs, but I think he's going to lock it in here for round 2. This kid is too good. We'll see here. I mean, this kid can putt. He knows all the shapes. He can throw everything. So we have 2 lefties and 2 righties on the card, and it's going to be interesting to see the different routes they take on these holes. Ottawa's pretty balanced. There's some right-hand backhand holes, your clockwise spin, and then there's definitely some counterclockwise spins as well. So the lefty backhand will come in play here. The righty forehand you'll see being featured as well. And there are some tricky slopes out here as well. For a relatively flat piece of land, there are some tricky things.
My name's Hayden Carroll. I went to White House Elementary, and I'm the 2019 Big Beaver Open MJ15 champ and AM Worlds.
My name is Mason Hughes. I went to Nevin Coppic Elementary School, and this is Mason Hughes Disc Golf.
Hey, I'm Clarke Hutchinson. I went to Oakdale School. I have $9,000 in Counter-Strike skins.
I'm Nathanael Hoyle. I went to Greenwood Elementary School, and I never played good at this course.
All right, and here we have hole 1. That big tree right off the bat is no longer there. It came down, I think, in an ice storm a few years ago. So this is just 312. It's pretty much dead straight. There is a tree on the left-hand side of the fairway that can kind of get in the way of the lefty backhands. But it's just a nice starter hole. You got to get this birdie, though, right off the bat. And it's tricky. It's your first hole. So let's see what they can do. Hayden, lefty backhand, looks like a straight flip up midi. And just didn't get all of it. He's down there pin high, but he's going to have a C2 putt. Mason, by the way, plays maybe the fastest I've seen anybody play. I don't have to make any cuts. He's also throwing a midi righty backhand, turns it over just a little bit, and puts it just a smidge closer than Hayden did. Clarke's our other lefty on the card, and he's going with a lefty backhand, a little flip up, and a little too much flip up. He does hit that fairway tree. He's going to have a long approach from there.
Like the guy that you're chasing to put your disc right next to his and then make a better putt than him.
And Nate, he knows this course. He knows what to do. Little stable fairway driver, gets a little late lift, and he's going to be absolutely parked 312 feet down that fairway. All right, here's Clarke's approach. He doesn't have much. Gives it a safe little bit, and he's got to tap in. Hayden. He wants to make all of those, but he doesn't make that one. Mason gets 1 stroke on him. He now only has a 3-stroke lead. And Nate's parked there for birdie as well. So the righties get the birdie on hole 1. The lefties have to settle for par.
A gold Shimmer Sartiver just sitting on top of the basket?
Yeah, I was there earlier.
So yeah, Hayden's just got a 3-stroke lead on Mason. Let's see if he can continue that pressure. Hole number 2 here. It's 348 feet, and this is a tricky shot. The lefty backhand is definitely going to have an advantage on this hole, the way that this shapes up down this fairway. The righty's going to have to kind of push something that flips a little late and doesn't fade too much. Oh, this is our first iconic tree alert. This big tree here right on the left, this branch kills so many great drives. It has been trimmed up a little bit since this drone footage, but is still going to block a majority of the right-hand backhand slightly turning shots. You have to hit this gap low or to the right of that branch inside that pine tree there, and then approach this green, which is going to see a little slope that runs down behind the basket and to the left as well, which makes your approach and your putt a little tricky. Mason with the forehand, which is a great throw, but he leaves this a little undercooked. He should have a putt from down there.
Last round you parked hole 1.
Nate with the righty backhand play. Oh, here's Mason with the right hand forehand. You can see it just kind of saws it off a little bit. Doesn't really get that full extension that we know he can do. Nate, this is the hyzer flip, but he pulls it a little wide, which is the mistake you're going to make, because this is a pretty sensitive shot. You want to make sure you get it left and commit and trust, and he just kind of forced it a bit. Hayden, this is a tricky little S flip-up shot, and he hits the main guardian tree there and bonks to the right. But if he misses that by a foot on the left, it's probably parked or deep, because that kid can really throw. Clarke can show you the same lefty backhand, and he's swinging it a little further left, got that flip up, and yeah, he's going to be probably the closest. He's got the CTP on this here. Let's see what he can do with it. So these pine trees have been trimmed up by the park, and Nate now can throw under them. They used to have to throw little forehand rollers and skip shots to get under these pine trees, but thankfully the park's done some maintenance and cleaned up these trees. Mason giving it a bid there, but it's going to have a tricky comeback. Or let's see if Clarke can get the birdie. Oh, Clarke. No. So Clarke runs down that hill slightly. Hayden, he clipped the branch on his approach, but he's able to hit that par putt. Mason, just low. And this is one of the baskets that's just a little bit higher than the rest. It's up on a little mound. Clarke's probably got to putt it, I don't know, about a foot or two higher than normal. It splashes out. So our 2 closest drives are going to end up with bogey, and our 2, I guess the 2 drives that were short right or ended up out of putting zone are going to get pars. So Hayden is back to his 4-stroke lead, and Nate is gaining on Clarke, fighting for 3rd place right now. Hole 3, 381. This one is a bit of a rip. It's pretty much dead straight, as you can see, but you have to hit this kind of wideish gap. You have to control your turn as well. You can't flip it over too much because these branches on the right will get you, and the lefties are worried about those trees on the left, and then you have to miss these guardians that kind of surround this basket. You have an edge of C2, and then you have some inside C1. If you hit one of these inside C1, you're probably fine. You're going to make that putt. It's just getting up into C1 is really tricky. A lot of really good drives end up in C2 on this hole. It is 380. Nate pushes one out, hits the gap perfectly. Should have a bid from C2. You can see Nate put a little more juice into that one, committed to the hyzer flip up. Hayden, he's flipping it just a little too much and clips some of that foliage on the left. Got to be a tricky shot for a lefty because you have to go really straight, and then that parking lot is going to be in the back of your mind. You can see that red car in the porta potty over there. Mason, looks like he pures this thing. He's got so much power. It's really fun to watch Mason throw. He knows all the lines out here. Clarke with the lefty backhand. He's looking for the flip. It's cut down in that fairway. So it looks like a touchy shot for the lefty backhand. And here's a little forehand approach from Hayden. He's right there under the basket, parked for his par. Mason just laying it up. Looks like Clarke got a little further down there than we thought. And gives it a bid. Deep C2 bid there from Clarke. Almost rings it up. Nate, one of the best C2 players in the area, does not give that one a good bid. Looks like there was some beeping or something going on. Hear that in the background, maybe. But yeah, this kid here, he can putt all day. Let's go, Nate. Good comeback. He can run it all because he can hit all those C1 X putts. Mason for his cleanup on his par here. Not an issue. And the two lefties with their par tap in. So, star par for the card here. No movement here on hole 3. Still a 4-stroke lead for Hayden. Hole 4, iconic tree alert. Yes, this branch that kind of just branches right across the fairway. Makes a triple mando of sorts between these two trees. And this tree's been cleaned up a bit. You'll see in the live footage, it's not as far down as it used to be. So, opened up a little bit. You can see this fairway slopes from left to right downhill towards the next hole 5's tee pad over there on the right. So a backhand right hand is going to want to be slightly overstable to make sure it finishes up this hill. And then you have a tricky putt. If anything is left fairway, you're putting downhill. If anything's right fairway, you're putting uphill. And if you're deep, you're also putting uphill. Nate hits the gap perfectly and should have a C1 putt there. You see this branch isn't as far down as it used to be. They've trimmed it up. Looks great now. But it still forces that shot low. And you see Hayden kind of threw a little low, but gets big skippies up left and is going to have a downhill putt. Mason, a little early, but it's flipping up flat, and he should be C1. He wants it to slow down because he knows deep is rough. And Clarke, first lefty forehand of the day. Gives it a little early, but gets down here to C2. Great bid there by Clarke. All right, so this is a slightly downhill putt, and Hayden leaves it left side chain out. And the righties take advantage again, just like on hole 1. Definitely a right hand backhand shot. You saw the lefties go to the forehand on this one. It's a must-get birdie. It feels like a must-get birdie after holes 2 and 3, which are very tricky bonus birdies. And you're going to go into 5, 6, 7, which are all bonus birdies as well. So you really want to get hole 4 here. So the righties have capitalized and got holes 1 and 4, and the lefties have let those 2 strokes leave them. So let's see if Hayden can get it turned on. Mason's back to 3 strokes behind, and Nate has tied up Clarke. This is hole 5. It is uphill about 12 feet or so, according to Google Earth. You have a series of gaps to hit. This main gap right here. And then you have to choose which side of this tree on the fairway right here. This is something that will kind of get you, but you want to fly this drone path if you're a righty backhand, but then you have to make sure you fade left. If you hit this hill slightly, most of the time you're going to run down into the road OB. So it's a tricky little slope, maybe about 10 feet away from where that edge is, and about 10, 15 feet away from the foliage on the left as well. So you see the slope is pretty significant left to right. Nate leaves it real early, but gets really lucky going left side of the main gap. That was a really tricky, lucky shot. Let's see if he can, get a bid on that for birdie. Mason, power righty backhand, flip up, looks perfect. Hits the last guardian. Hayden, lefty backhand. All right, he's hit that line and given himself a nice C1 X putt. Maybe C2 edge. Clarke now, lefty backhand as well. See if he can hit that same line. A little bit lower. And he's going to have a C2 putt again. He was locked in on 4. Let's see if we can hit that one on 5, though. Nate with a jumper. Great shape. Soft bid, though. not getting all of it. This is significantly uphill near the end, so you have to give it a little extra. You can see Mason give it a little extra, and he's just under the basket. Clarke laying it up, not running it. It looks like Hayden got to about 20, 25 feet or so. So you can get the first birdie of the day. Bingo. And we got cleanup for par from our other fellas. So the leader gets a stroke on the bonus birdie hole 5.
For your contributions to society.
Back to a 4-stroke lead. Hole 6. This is an iconic hole here at Ottawa Disc Golf Course. Ottawa Park Disc Golf Course in Toledo, Ohio. 339 feet. You know what? Let's just see that again. This is such a great, tricky shot. Righty backhand, it is one of the more difficult tee shots on the course. Lefty backhand, it's definitely an advantage because you're going to fly this route that the drone's flying. You have to be right side of this guy here on the left, and then you have to fade or turn back left to hit this big gauntlet of trees. You want to hit right over here because this iconic tree alert showing you the willow on the right. It used to be all the way down to the ground in this drone footage from 2021, but right now they've trimmed it up and it's about 6 feet off the ground in every area. So the righties can now go under that as well, but it's a much trickier shot to go under that willow. You'll see these guys try to hit this main gap. So Hayden, fresh off his first birdie. Does it get down there? Hits the willow, looks like, and rolls slightly towards the basket. Nate, this is a touchy shot, and he leaves. It exits early again left, same as hole 5. Doesn't commit all the way to the line, and he'll have to kind of scramble from there. Mason's showing you the line. That's that slight hyzer flip up to end flat, and this also drifts down left and slopes away left. So the righty backhand, if you pure it, sometimes you can be 80 deep. Clarke, he's got this turning, but this headwind flips it way more, and then he hits one of these left guardians and kicks further left. He's almost over on 5's fairway. Nate gives it a bid. He's in these guardians. Soft bid. Good bid. Clarke just has this low forehand flick shot. Hits the pole. Hayden. He's heating up. Edge of circle, maybe C2. Mason, can he deliver on a birdie? No, he can't. He leaves it low, just like hole 2. This basket is slightly up. And from that left side, it feels like the basket's taller as well. So, our other fellows here get pars. But Hayden heating up 2 birdies in a row into hole 7. Big turn right-hand backhand shot. Or for Hayden, just a stock lefty power hyzer, really. So it's 381, and it's kind of delicate for the righties. You have to hold this turning line all the way, but still fight out a little bit at the end. If you throw it too hard, you can cut roll and end up back left towards 8's T-pad over here on the left, or you can end up real short. The lefties have to contend with these trees along the left side of the fairway, so it's a shot shape that requires some touch, but also a lot of power. One of the more iconic long holes here at Ottawa Park for the pro T-pads. This one here, a lot of backhand rollers from players as well. You just want to get it out there. But Hayden has the power, and he's a lefty, and that looks fantastic. Almost rings it up.
You almost aced it.
Absolutely parks this thing. Lefty cheat code on this hole. For a long time it was, hey, Marty Peters throws a putter on this. Maybe I can too. But Nate throwing a flippy fairway, it looks like maybe a distance driver, and catches one of the fairway trees there on the left. He'll have to give it a little bid from the fairway, see if he can throw it in. Mason throwing you, hey, look, oh, yeah, a little bit higher. And he's getting that thing up into the wind and letting it cook right before it hits the ground and cut rolls a little bit left. He's got so much power. And Clarke, lefty backhand, let's see if he can, yep, that looks pretty similar. Gets a nasty wind bounce, though, and gets dropped down into that fairway tree. Looks like the same one Nate hit.
Also, crazy wind bounce again.
I thought it was going to push.
I think they were thinking they'd get a lift from that one.
I noticed.
Again.
So Nate, standstill straddle, gives it a bid. What power from the straddle putt. Clarke has this awkward forehand little approach shot, just like he did in the last hole. He'll get up there and get his par. He's actually first out to putt. There we go. Hayden with the absolute park job with maybe 10 feet. Missed Mason's approach shot. I think it was a soft putt. I think he almost hit it, actually, based on where he was. And he just has this to clean up, but that would have been a sick birdie for him. Mason plays really fast, and I miss some of his shots. Hayden is officially on fire now. He's got 3 in a row. Gobble, gobble. Hole 8. This is 308 feet. Tricky little shot because the righty backhand is blocked by this trio of trees. The lefties just have to flex something a little bit, and their route is very open on this one. So a righty forehand plays really well as the lefty backhand, but these trees on the righty backhand are near impossible to fly through. So you'll see players either try to go under them, short of them, or deep of them and above them to dump in. And I just want to take a second and do a lap around these trees and show you just how tricky the right-hand hyzer is. This is about right where the righty hyzer is going to want to fly, is to the right of this first tree here. And it is a impossibly tight gap right now because that is your hyzer approach angle right there. So you want to push something up right of this third tree on the right and have it fade in. So a very touchy power righty hyzer. The lefties definitely have an advantage, and the righty forehand has an advantage here as well. This hole used to have 4 iconic guardians called the 4 Horsemen. Unfortunately, they were taken down with some beetle kill about a decade ago. So let's see. He's got 3 in a row. Can he get 4? I think that's a pretty great line. Looks like it died a little short. He'll have a putt to get his 4th in a row. Nate's going with the straight shot. Nate has this great hyzer flip-up game, but this one fades out a little bit on him. Mason, he's got the power righty backhand in mind, and it's tricky because you want to throw it up high over those trees. It looks like maybe he's going for the low skip shot. Ends up a little deep, but he should have a putt from back there. Clarke, lefty forehand. Doesn't do the lefty backhand. Lefty forehand. Interesting strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off. Mason with the big bid. Runs it deep. Clarke is on the board. Nice birdie from C2 for Clarke. Nate, one of the best putters in our area. Let's see if he can capitalize. And he doesn't commit to that putt. Hayden, though, 4 straight. This kid is a monster. All right, Nate, got to commit to that comebacker. There you go. And Mason also with a little bit of a comebacker tester, but he gets his par as well. So the lefties get the birdies on this one. Hayden's officially on fire, folks. 4 straight. All right, headed into the iconic hole number 9. Look at this tree here on the left of this fairway. What a glorious old tree this is. It forces a low shot for the righty backhand, but then you also have this uphill approach to this basket on the mound. So the righty backhand can get you there, but you rarely get a skip up the hill when it's this grassy out. It requires a pushing sweeping hyzer that lands about halfway up the hill, and you still need the nose up to get up the hill to actually park it. So a lot of people will drive and have a edge of C1 putt uphill as a death putt. Looks like Hayden pushed through the guardian bush. Clarke, same line, lefty forehand. Looks like that bush is gonna, yep, shut that down. Nate with the righty backhand. You can see it's a kind of a pushing hyzer, and can he get a little skip? Gets a little skip. He's up on the hill slightly. Still has a death putt uphill with a pretty good drop behind it. Mason sweeping hyzer. Does he get a skip? See, he ends up a little early, and he's going to have like a C2 bid at it. Clarke just laying this up. That's a tricky spot to be in. Mason, this is from 45 probably, uphill about 10 feet. Gives it a bid, and you never really know where that ends up. Hayden wanted that one, but Goes off the band. Pure commitment from that putt. That's straight death behind it. Nate clutches up and gets the birdie. Let's go. So Mason with the comebacker. These are tricky because it just is wide open behind you and you're back down that hill. So Mason once again misses that comebacker after a good birdie bid. Clarke taps in for par, and Hayden taps in for par as well. So that there is our front nine of the 2025 Frogtown Fling presented by Saucy
And that's
Disc
our
Golf.
front nine.
Let's look at our scores. Hayden with a 4 down, Mason even through 9, Clarke even through 9, and Nathanael 3 down. He's tied up Clarke for 3rd place, and Hayden has put 4 strokes on top of Mason, so he's got an 8-stroke lead right now going into the back 9. So I guess it's kind of a battle for 2nd place. This has been a production of the Random Deuce Guy. All drone footage, camera footage, video editing, graphics, and commentary by the Random Deuce Guy. Thank you for playing disc golf. Thank you for supporting this channel by viewing, liking, and subscribing. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. Peace out.